dun, 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 dun.
Still no new intro for the podcast. So Liam does the music and I read the plugs and the boys are here. It's Friday night and Oilersnation Radio is recording now for your weekend. Bag Milk here, Dan, Rick, Tyler, Liam, gang's all here. Plenty to talk about today on Oilersnation Radio episode what, Tyler?
269, I think.
Hey.
Nice.
I think.
Yep, that's it.
Nice.
269 million.
As always, we give a shout out to our friends at Oodle Noodle for being the title sponsors of the podcast. I want to give them some love. 18 locations and counting. It's Friday. You've worked enough for the week. Allow our friends at Oodle Noodle to treat you to something delicious. May I encourage you to try a hot box with double shrimp.
Here's your weekend plan, all right?
Mm-hmm.
Here we go.
Tonight, you're on your way home. You're going to order a lot of Oodle Noodle.
That's right.
Pick it up. You get home. You get Chris Chalmers at a family dinner off your face loaded tonight.
Of course, yeah.
Wake up tomorrow, 10:30 puck drop, eat leftover Oodle Noodle, watch the Oilers.
Yep. And you get Chris Chalmers hammered at 10:30 a.m.
Exactly.
Well, you can have fit at least 2-3 beers in while we're eating a noodle box for sure.
Yep. There you go.
One while you're heating it up.
Weekend's planned. Thank me later.
You have a quick one while you're heating it up.
Yep.
You have 3 while you finish the box. Mm-hmm. You have
one
another
while you walk to the garbage to throw out the box.
Yeah, and then another one when you put your cutlery in the dishwasher.
Yep.
Right?
The old dishwasher beer. Classic.
Dishwasher beers, we all got to have them.
There is something nice about just crushing a cold one while you do like any sort of household chores.
One of my favorite beers you can have is in the shower.
Shower's great. I'm talking like folding laundry. Have something on the TV while you're just folding away, crushing a cold one. That's
you
an
need
elite
it, man.
beer.
You get the clothes out of the dryer. They're smoking hot.
What are you waiting for it? Like, do you stand by the dryer to let it?
No, but
As soon as it buzzes, Rick is there.
As soon as it beeps, you got to get up and get it done. Otherwise, it's going to sit in there for 2 to 3 days.
And it's going to get cold.
That's true.
Yeah, and wrinkly.
And wrinkly, yeah.
Yeah, the wrinkly.
That's the thing.
I actually reminds me I got to take my laundry out of the dryer when I
Yeah, you also reminded me I've got some in there.
It's probably from Monday, isn't it?
Mine's definitely from Monday.
See?
Yeah, it is from Monday. I actually had to put my washing on again because I forgot about it.
Oh, that is the worst.
Those are
You get the stale water. That's terrible.
But luckily, I had more laundry to put on, so I just put it back in. And then I just did a double whammy wash.
Because you open it up, the washing machine, it just stinks. It's got that stale
water.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm still learning
Mildew.
how to live alone.
Yeah, and here's a little advice for you. When you put everything into the washing machine, leave the washing machine open for a little while. Let it dry out on its own. Otherwise, that water stinks it up inside.
There you go. There's your laundry tips to start off the Friday episode of Oilersnation Radio. As we do every week, we start off with a delicious debate for our friends at Oodle Noodle. Mr. Urem Chuck, what do you have for us today?
Here is what I got for you. Last week, I asked you if you would have done the Ryan O'Reilly trade for Noel Acciari. And you all sat there and said, yes, I would have spent all the assets to get Ryan O'Reilly and Noel Acciari. We saw another deal yesterday. Dmitri Orlov and Garnet Hathaway going to the Boston Bruins for a very similar return. First, second, third, and fifth rounder instead of the first, second, third, and fourth rounder that the Leafs gave up.
First, second, and what?
First, second, third, and a fifth.
Yeah, I'll make that trade.
For Orlov and Hathaway. No, my question is, because you all said you would also do the O'Reilly trade. So you wouldn't have had, if you were GMs, you wouldn't have had the option to do the Orlov Hathaway deal. I would have, because I said I wouldn't have done O'Reilly. Or I said I'd think about it.
Well, hey, now you can't do this.
No, I know exactly.
Because we can't be already having Ryan O'Reilly, and now I don't get to trade for Dmitri Orlov.
My question is,
if we have O'Reilly, Ken's out of the lake already.
Yeah. If you could have pulled the trigger on one of these two, which one would you have rather
O'Reilly.
done?
O'Reilly.
I would O'Reilly too.
Not a question.
Really?
Yep.
Yeah.
Dan?
I think I would have gone Hathaway Orlov. I think that Orlov is a defenseman that we need in that kind of build, and then Hathaway is a great pickup for this team for the bottom six.
What would you do, Tyler?
I think I would potentially do Orlov and Hathaway.
Not potentially. You got to choose one this time.
This is like, you've got two choices.
Apparently he sat there on Tuesday and didn't tell everybody exactly what he was thinking, so he can come out on Friday.
Yeah, he bamboozled us.
And go,
Tyler,
I don't know if I was going to take that one.
the question I would have for Tyler is the cost of Ryan O'Reilly what's holding you back? Because that's what held me back.
Yeah.
Or is it
I don't know.
just
Does
the
the cost
acquisition in
look
general?
that bad after his hat trick the other night?
I think I like Hathaway more than I maybe like Achari a little bit. And I like the idea of adding both to the blue line and the forward group, not just adding 2 forwards. Hathaway would help you on the PK. Orlov would be a left side defenseman who's better than Brett Kulak. You could run 11-7 in a really interesting way with Orlov in the mix. I think Orlov actually might have made the Oilers better than O'Reilly would have.
See, I think you do the O'Reilly thing. And if you get Achari too, that really solidifies your forward group. And then you can go out and find another Kulak-esque trade.
That's what I agree. I think too, because
is Gavrikov going to go for a lot cheaper now that
or are they
Boston
still
made their move?
Yeah, or are they still expecting a first round pick for Gavrikov?
You're the insider here.
I missed that.
Is Gavrikov the cost for Gavrikov still the same?
That's actually so
yeah, if it goes down, could we not have pulled off the O'Reilly move and then picked up Gavrikov on say Thursday? And then my team's better than your team.
Okay, but you don't have
my guy also scored a hat trick this week.
He did.
It's true.
Gavrikov probably still costs you a first plus. So you don't really have that luxury if you go get O'Reilly to deal another first round pick for another rental.
I still got my 24 first.
You're trading both first for 2 rentals.
What if I re-sign one?
Yeah, like Kulak.
I'd be seriously talking to O'Reilly to see what numbers we can get him in.
Yeah, and maybe that changes it. I think the cost on Gavrikov might go down a little now. Frank talked about how, teams looked at how Sherratt kind of went down last season. Florida paid a ton to get him and he wasn't that good. And they might be a little bit more hesitant to do something like that. Granted, Boston just paid that price to go get Dmitri Orlov, but they got Hathaway in the deal as well. I think the cost might be falling on Gavrikov, but I don't know if it'll fall enough to get the Oilers interested.
I think at least with Orlov, that price, you know what you're kind of getting. With Gavrikov, as a guy who's never played in the playoffs before, a lot of people have probably only heard of him for the first time this season. Right? So Orlov, I can see why he kind of went for that price. Hathaway, like Dan said, can play a role on the team as well. So, but I still think I would just go with the O'Reilly deal on my end, just because I like the flexibility he brings to your forward group. And I think Rick said it. You can go out and grab another defenseman from somewhere for whatever.
Luke Shannon's still out there if you want him or something like that.
Yes. I really like Dmitri Orlov. I was a little bit rattled when that deal went down because I thought that was a guy the Oilers should have been calling on.
Who else do you like? Actually, you know what? I don't want to hear who else you like because everybody you like keeps getting traded.
Yeah,
that's a good point. That's a really good point.
Are you the Oilers reverse jinx?
Maybe.
Or
there's another guy in Washington I don't mind, and that's
is it Ovi?
Nick Jensen. Nick Jensen.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Ovi.
He's a righty too, isn't he?
Yeah, but I think he can play both sides. I'm pretty sure he can play both sides.
Right, so you drafted him.
The Crusaders.
Ken Holland.
Oh. Did he draft him?
Oh, yeah.
He was doing that research last night instead of watching Devin score.
Yeah, that's fair. But anyways, he's a guy, he shoots right, but I think he can play the left side. Yeah, you're right, Liam. Was drafted by Ken Holland back in 2009.
We really don't need a guy to play on his offside. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's cool if you can, but I think we're pretty much set. If you bring me in a lefty or a righty, the other side will be sufficient.
But when you're running 11-7, it might be valuable to have a guy who can flip-flop, play with different partners, give you a ton of different looks. Jensen has a really good first pass. He's fine in his own end. I like Nick Jensen.
So we'll delete this part of the pod. So this way...
nobody listen to this part of the podcast.
We'll bleep out the name of who I'm talking about.
Oh, exactly.
Yeah. That's the way to do it. Tyler is the jinx. He is a problem. So the question for you, dear listener, would you have rather... Again, you got to pick. You can't be Tyler and you go, oh, well, I've got a better trade later in the week.
I don't know if the answer is the O'Reilly trade.
I want to hear from you. Would you have rather spent those assets to get Ryan O'Reilly and Noel Achari or Dmitri Orlov and what's his pickle?
Hathaway.
Because you got to take that lineup from last night. You had O'Reilly, you had Klim, and you had Kane.
Yeah.
Okay. Or you take that lineup from yesterday and you add Orlov, Hathaway, Klim, and Kane.
I like that. Get better on the blue line. This team needs to be better on the blue line. They got to add a D-man.
Looked pretty good last night.
I'm with Rick, though. I think that if you got O'Reilly, you could still add to your blue line.
I think he's the best player in the group of players we're referring to, no?
Until we get Patrick.
Orlov is not better than O'Reilly.
I think it's a win-win. I think both trades would benefit the Oilers massively.
Oh, no, get off the fence, Liam.
I'm on it. I'm right in the middle of it. I'm walking the line. But I like what Rick just said about O'Reilly probably is could be the most impactful player.
Yes.
I think Orlov would bring a lot too. So I think
Orlov impacts the Oilers more.
Sorry, go ahead. Why do you think it impacts more?
While I understand getting a good defensive centerman, and I've been on that train for a while, I think having Orlov make life easier for Darnell Nurse, give another really reliable partner to one of the righties he could be playing with, bumping Kulak down a little bit, helping on the penalty kill, all that stuff. That helps the Oilers a ton. O'Reilly just feels like maybe a little bit more of a luxury. They need a guy that can win faceoffs. So like, again, it's very close. I will say that I would have been happy. I would have been thrilled with either of these deals going down. I just think the Hathaway addition also helps you on the PK, would make you hard to play against in the bottom six. I like him more than Achari. And again, you have a good forward group already. This forward group as assembled, I think is good enough to carry you pretty far. I don't think this blue line is. So if you gave me the choice of only upgrading one, I think I might do that.
I have a question. Yes, I may. So obviously O'Reilly and Orlov are gone. Finito.
Yeah.
Who would you give up that package now, like for the 3 picks or whatever, plus whatever else it was, to get on the market? Like who would you pay that price for now on the market? For everyone, not just Tyler. Everyone else can jump.
I'm not good at this stuff.
I think we're running out of options now.
Who's
for that?
So like, if you're going to give out a first, then are we talking strictly rentals?
There's only like 2 guys.
Not necessarily. I think let's just say who's ever on Frank's board.
But there's only really 2 guys out there who could still command that type of a deal. And I think that's Kane and Karlsson. And I don't think Kane wants to come. I think we'll be like second or third in his list of teams where he wants to go.
It just seems like he's going to go to
the Karlsson thing is kind of like floating away, just gonna be too expensive, and it's really gonna handcuff us.
To quote Elliot Friedman, 1 in a million chance that the Oilers pull that off.
Mine would be Timo Meier.
There is a chance.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah, I'd love Timo Meier too.
That's a dream acquisition, but is that going to?
Listen, this is all in time. Remember, everyone's been saying for the last couple weeks, all in,
but all in with a team structure so that we can.
No, everyone's just been saying all in. But you have to go all in.
Timo Meier is what, $6 million, right?
Yes.
So if you get the 50% retained, like every other team has done with the deals that we're talking about.
Does he have term left?
No, he's an RFA.
RFA.
So then
they're worried about they're worried about his cost after.
I don't know. It's interesting. Maybe just try and
as a pure rental, again. Perhaps.
I would trade it first if it's Patrick Kane coming as a rental.
Yeah, I mean, if you could get like to not to go right back to that, but like to me, if you do that exact same deal with a Timo Meier, sure. But I don't think San Jose wants to make that deal because they would rather gamble this offseason with a...
I just got a feeling like Timo Meier is going to end up in fucking Vegas or something. It's going to drive me crazy.
Ooh, they're lurking, hey, with the moves they've been...
That's what I mean. They just moved up Weber's.
Scare me too much. We've always been pretty good with them. I don't know who they can add that's going to worry me. One thing I'm a little more scared about is what Colorado can add. Because they have 2 guys they can put on LTIR, and it opens up a lot of money.
Yeah, they might be a
Colorado's
team that's
going to be good. And then amazingly...
Landeskog, and off the top of my head...
Amazingly, Landeskog will be like, this is the best I've felt ever. And it's May 1st or whatever.
Yeah, that's actually... I think that might be tough to just throw Landeskog, especially with the style he plays. Just tossing him right into the playoffs.
He's going to be out there.
Yeah.
I think his style would be better than doing it like to Kucherov.
Really?
I think Kucherov needs more timing to his game where Landeskog doesn't need to be scoring goals. He can do so many different other things out there that you don't necessarily need your timing for. You just go fuck shit up.
See, and I think Kucherov is like, his... he will make an impact on the power play. You feed him pucks, he'll finish it off.
But I'm just saying when you're off that long, like your offense, it takes a little more time for your offense to come back. Whereas with Landeskog, he can just do everything. You just go he can just go put whoever was in the boards again from behind and not get the and get a holding call instead of the 5-minute boarding call from last year. Not that I remember that at all.
Jesus,
that may be exactly where my picture comes from. By the way,
is that
picture on the story? It might be. I was upset about that one. I went down to the glass. I got in trouble.
When Kadri got hit from behind?
No, when Landeskog hit us, and I think it was it Fogle? Or was it a defenseman? I can't remember, but it was like legit right in front of my section. I got in trouble for going to the glass.
Happens to the best of us.
The other thing, like worried about pieces other teams could pick up. Like it sounds like Patrick Kane probably going to end up with the Rangers. They're just going to load up.
They're going to be ridiculous if he goes there.
But they're not the best team in the conference right now.
Yes, they are. No, I think they are.
You think they're better than Boston right now?
Yeah, if they get Kane, I'd take them over Boston.
That fan base has turned on their goaltending though. I've been reading the tea leaves in New York, and they are not a fan of their goalies right now.
They have like the best goalie in the world.
I know they're killing.
But Shesterkin hasn't had a great year though, has he?
I'd still take that guy overall.
Oh, I'm not saying I wouldn't.
Even though they've had a reverse season.
By his own standards, how about that?
Yeah, sure. But I just get, anyways, the point I'm getting at here, there's Timo Meier. And then after that, on Frank Saravalli's top 50, there's not really anyone that I would classify as a true Meier, Kane, Chychrun. Those three. Outside of those three, there's not anyone else there I qualify as like, whoa, game-changing addition.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that means Edmonton, Vegas, all these teams out west, if Kane goes to the east, Meier goes to the east probably. We're here in Carolina and New Jersey. There's a chance no one in the west makes an A+ move.
I'm really interested to see wherever Chychrun ends up, because this is dragging on way longer and his prices keeps falling.
And how can they can't let this drag on even more? Like, that's insane.
So last I saw is 2 firsts or equivalent to whatever. So would you do 23, 24 first? Bang, bang, done.
They got to take money back. So how do you I just don't know how you make the money work.
That's fair.
Right? Because it's got to be Puljujarvi and it's got to be almost Puljujarvi and Foegele going out the door to get 4.2 million of Chychrun in here. So how do you what moves do you have to make those two go away? It just
unless
seems
the Coyotes, they need to get to the floor. They can retain some money.
If you brought Chychrun in at what, 4.5?
Yeah, around there, 4.2.
So then Pooley is what, 3? And then you'd lose. No, because like Vinny would have to go down. So that's going to be about 750 just because, or like a defenseman's got to go down.
Petition to get rid of the salary cap. I'm done with it.
I'm in.
Enough with this.
I'm in.
We got the billionaire owner, as long as we have
as long as we still have Daryl Case as the owner.
Yes, sir.
So like if you could get rid of Puljujarvi and Foegele, you could get Bukestad and Chychrun from Arizona, and the money it would work for Edmonton.
That would have been my answer to your question earlier, Liam, that you started us down this wormhole of. Is there a package that you would compare that to be able to make that transaction?
For Chychrun, you're saying, Dad?
Chychrun and Bukestad.
Ekholm and Jeannot.
Yeah. Oh, I would be all.
I would like that one too.
I might get Jeannot by himself if he's available. Yeah.
Yeah. I was reading about.
What about Ekholm by himself? I would love that dude.
6.25 mil.
They need to figure it out, obviously, but like, man, he would be great. His beard per 60 would be sky high.
Jeannot came back down to earth this season after shooting
but it's only his second year, isn't it?
Well, he was shooting 19% last year, so that it's natural to come down. But he's just been.
But he does a lot of things when he's not putting the puck in the net too, right?
He's been put into a 3rd and 4th line role by the coach and asked to.
I think he looks great on a 3rd line here or 4th line here.
Yep.
So 2 questions for you, fair listener. Which package would you have preferred to do, the O'Reilly or the Orlov? And then is there anybody else that's still available that you would consider moving along that kind of package to acquire? That's really what we're talking about here. Tyler, final thoughts?
I'm starting to get nervous is my final thoughts, because we just talked. There's not a lot of impact guys out there, and I'm just a little bit worried.
Do you need that shiny object?
I think you do.
Or do you need someone who's going to quietly come in there and do his job quietly? And nice, quietly double time, but there. You know what I'm saying? Like, we don't necessarily need that shiny object. We need someone who's going to come in and fill his position with quality game.
When do we get our all-in move from our all-in GM?
People are going to hate this, but I think we're better suited next year just because we're not an LTIR. And it doesn't mean you can't do it right now. I'm just saying you're better suited for next year.
Rick. We're going to fight you.
You're better suited next year if you're not on LTIR. Now you get a guy at whatever's left on his contract, not his whole damn contract.
It just you can't hope for next year. Look at Washington this year.
No, but you also can't jump too soon either.
But you can't, we're in year 8 of Connor's career now.
Yeah, but
at some point we got to fucking get in the pool.
Based on Connor's career, though.
We're talking about 3 years.
Has to be.
No, it can't be because Holland hasn't been here the whole time.
Still.
He had to come in and clean shit up.
It doesn't matter. That's
so then we're in year 3 of Holland.
His job to get cleaned up.
Okay, but he's been in the playoffs every time. In the conference final last year. So yes, we need to take a step up from last year, 100%. We need to make the conference final bare minimum. I agree 1,000%.
So I don't think this team currently as it is gets to the conference final.
Who's going to stop us?
The defense just isn't strong enough.
No, what team is going to stop us?
The Los Angeles Kings.
You think the Kings are better than the Oilers right now?
Los Angeles Kings
I don't think
beat this team
the Kings brought the Oilers to 7 games last year. No Arvidsson, no Doughty. Now they have them both, and they got Kevin Fiala.
What happened though?
What the Oilers won.
So the Kings
almost
lost
that series.
Okay, Rick, but
Why are you talking about almost?
Because of all the reasons.
In
that Tyler just listed.
1987, we almost lost to the Flyers.
I wasn't
Talk
alive. It
about
didn't
that?
happen.
You're right, but
We're not worried about almost.
but that's
keep your eyes forward. Don't look backwards.
You're looking backward right now.
You're saying
You think Bolt ever run a race by looking backwards?
but you're just contradicting yourself. Because we're talking about going all in right now because we're just looking forward, and you're like, I don't know, look back because we didn't win. No,
I just said I just said we might be more suitable next year to go after that big splashy move, just because the way the contracts work, the LTIR situation.
But what if this offseason coming up, Ken Holland gets us into LTIR crap again?
He didn't get us into LTIR crap. Our guy getting hurt and got put into LTIR.
Going into the season that we were up against the cap the entire year because of Ken Holland's decisions this offseason.
I think you gotta go. I think you go in all in this year, and you go all in next year, and you go all in the year after that.
I do.
Smith left he's on LTIR.
Yes.
You're going to blame that on Holland?
No.
Clefbaum's on LTIR.
I'll blame the 2-year contract on Holland.
That actually helped Holland. That was a positive thing for him because then he could go out and get a goalie.
No, but it doesn't help at the trade deadline, though, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but that's why we pay Ken Holland $5 million and not me. If I'm getting paid $5 million, Rick, yes,
Everybody
I expect.
Makes the GM job seem so easy too.
I hope you expect of Rick, after 3 years of the general manager getting paid $5 million. I don't think that his job is easy at all, but it's his job. And if he doesn't want to do it, then don't do it.
When did he not do it?
If we looking at the Western Conference teams that I think could handle the
conference final last year,
but if we go through this deadline,
1 point away
if we go through this deadline without a move, Rick, he didn't do his job.
3 points away from first place in the division and the conference right now.
Yeah, and we're not there, and we're not there. This team is. We're
can't 3 points away from the conference, from first place in the conference.
Yes. And is it good enough to win the Western Conference? No. You go around this room and
I don't think this 4 out of 5 defense is currently set up for the playoffs.
And I agree. We need to add an
Colorado could take care of it. Minnesota could. Winnipeg could. LA arguably could. Dallas could.
But you're sitting there saying you can't see us beating any of those teams?
No, of course I can. Any given Sunday. But I could also see them flipping it right back and beating the Oilers.
Rick, that team in LA, their goaltending sucks. Edmonton's goaltending might be a little. So
our goaltending is different than it was last year. I think our goaltending is better than it was last year.
Yeah, I think so too. But I'm just saying LA is really good, and LA might take anything
away from them. I just think they're behind us. So I think we're ahead of them. And
I think Smith was really good in that LA series,
100%.
And so I don't think that's not to me that, like, if you say Campbell and Skinner is a small increase, the team isn't better than the Arvidsson replacement.
The Edmonton Oilers this year are better than the Edmonton Oilers last year.
I don't know if you can say that.
Liam,
I just did.
Break the tie.
I think we undervalue how good this team is, but
I'm not saying it's not good.
Areas that the team needs to get better, which have just been addressed in that conversation of the defense. But also when we list off all those teams you could beat the Oilers, feels like we're not factoring in that we have Connor McDavid and Draisaitl and Evander Kane's not been on the team all season.
Healthy, Leo.
Healthy for now.
That's fair.
Darnell Nurse wasn't healthy in the playoffs last season, and this blue line minus Duncan Keith got them to a conference finals.
Okay, Duncan Keith's not here anymore.
Minus Duncan
Nobody
Keith.
liked him anyways last year.
So I think the Oilers need to get better this season. I don't think it necessarily has to be the flashiest player in the world. Mm-hmm. We just listed there's not many left. But they need to go out and find upgrades for this team. And I think that's very apparent. If they don't go out and spend everything to go and get a Chikrin, a Kane, or a Timo Meier, but they go out and get 3 pieces that make them better, then I'm not sure what the argument is as long as they improve.
Yeah, like I'm not sitting here saying this is the team we need to take into the playoffs.
Yeah.
But I'm also saying that we don't need that big shiny object to add to our lineup. If we can get some quality players to play 13 minutes in that third line, or another quality Kulak type of player to play on the defense, I think we'll be a lot better than we were last year.
I think we're seeing right now what this depth, when the Oilers have depth scoring, how dangerous they can be in some games. And we're seeing that now because the depth scoring has shown up.
Mm-hmm.
If you add a middle 6 guy and a mid-pairing defenseman,
that's kind of what I'm saying.
They're right up there as one of the elite in the Western Conference.
And that's kind of just what I'm saying.
But those are both things you're going to have to pay a lot to get.
But I think what I'm trying to say is, like, if they don't go get a Chikrin or someone like that, I'm not disappointed as long as they do something. Like a Nick Jensen, for example.
Second in Niemelainen for a guy like Nick Jensen.
Sure.
And then you got to go give up I don't know, next year's second. Do you still have it?
I think the Bukestad might be an addition. If you can get the Jensen for that price, the Bukestad in there.
I'm starting to sour on Bukestad as a difference maker. He can be your Derek Brassard ad this year that you give up a fifth for.
See, I don't know, but he doesn't have to be a difference maker per se. He just has to be better than what we have right now.
I'm not sure if Nick Bukestad's better than Derek Ryan.
It depends on what Derek Ryan, I guess we're
Isn't
talking
he tall, Derek Ryan? Isn't that what you called him?
That's what Tyler Mulick calls him all the time in the live show. Yeah. You need to aim higher than that, in my opinion. You need to spend at least a second rounder plus on a D-man and at least a second rounder plus on a forward. And those are impactful players. You're not just looking for a guy.
But they're not the shiny object like I was talking about.
Yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Like
they're not Patrick Kane.
Jensen's not the shiny object. Orlov would not have been a shiny object.
What?
I don't think to the typical fan, Orlov would have been the shiny object.
No, there's no chance he would have been.
I think for us, I would like Orlov. I think he would be. But
we talked about that yesterday.
I think like the superstar names that are out there are what people are really glamoring for. My point is, if you don't get them, it's not a bad thing as long as you make yourself better.
Yes.
Yeah.
I think the cost of acquisition is what kind of determines it for the fans as to whether it's a big splash or not. Like I think that the 2-player transaction, like we saw with the Boston, and then who was the other team that did that too?
Minnesota.
Yeah,
Minnesota was involved.
They were the third team in both. It was Toronto and St. Louis.
Okay, yeah. So yeah, exactly. Where you're picking up a couple of players, you're kind of trying to address a couple of things, and then that's where I think it becomes
Minnesota
a big splash.
75% of his contract yesterday.
25.
I thought they picked up 20. Then who picked up the other part?
Well, yeah, because 50 was retained by Washington,
and then 50 by Mini.
And then 50 of the 50. So 25.
For a fifth rounder.
Rounder.
What was the dollar amount then on that? Because we were talking about that on Tuesday. What's your...
I think he was at 6 million, wasn't
he? He was 5.1. So
close.
Cut it. It's 1.25 or something like that. Yeah.
It was what a fifth rounder costs or vice versa?
Yeah, it's all related to the real money. But yeah, fourth or fifth rounder, if you want money retained, is basically the going rate.
It's funny how Minnesota's adding salary without adding players to a team that's in.
I was trying to figure that too. Like, are they picking up picks to try and move some of their cap space next year when they get real fucked? Or is that 2 years from now?
It's not even bad right now.
No, right now it's 6.3 still for each Parise and Suter. So it is 12.7 in dead space. It jumps to 14.7 for the next 2 years after this. But they have
that's insane.
They have $8.9 million right now in cap space. So they could keep doing this hypothetically.
Do they have someone on the LTIR? I thought they were like right up to it.
Yeah, I thought they were kissing the cap. How's this happening?
They have Jonas Brodin on normal IR. No, they have a lot of cap space.
Oh,
they aren't dealing in LTIR, right? So they've been accruing or whatever they say too.
Maybe the storyline was just, they have to take all this money. And I just assumed they were crammed up against it.
That's what I thought too. Like, I was just like, I don't understand how this works. I'm like, when does the Parise and Suter thing hit? And like the math on that is bananas. Like, I don't even understand it.
They had to send somebody down yesterday to activate Orlov onto their roster, which I thought was funny. For like, he obviously got called back up today, but for like that one day, they had to drop Beckman or Backman or something like that. They had to send him down.
Old David Beckham.
A week from today, trade deadline day. So we're going to be having some more arguments for the next week about what the Oilers may or may not do. But on deadline day, Tyler, what is happening with the fine folks at Daily Faceoff?
10 o'clock Mountain, we go live on the Daily Faceoff YouTube. So if you aren't subscribed to that, head over there like right now. Pull over if you're driving and go subscribe to the Daily Faceoff YouTube because there's a ton of good Frank Saravalli content on there. We're going live 10 a.m. Mountain until 2 o'clock Mountain, which is an hour post deadline.
Do we get the Frank Saravalli ISO cam again?
We do get the Frank Saravalli ISO cam, and I'll be there. And Mike McKenna and Nick Alberga and Pete Blackburn from Bally Sports. Jay Rosehill will be kicking around. It's quite the crew we have assembled for this live show.
Daily Faceoff Live Trade Deadline Edition is going up next Friday, like Tyler said, at 10 a.m. So
will there be food in here? Like, are we going to like cater this? So if I come in at like 10 a.m. and sit out there and eat muffins all day?
Yeah, Maddie said we're getting snacks and like all kinds of stuff. So
TV's on. And
we'll have all the TVs on. We'll be watching Tyler. I'll be smashing my face against this door right now.
Do we have an ISO cam on Frank's phone?
We should.
If you just got to read his notifications all day?
We should.
I don't see why not.
Notifications?
Yeah.
Not going to hurt anything.
Nah, come on.
See names show up.
Yeah.
Does Big Bob go back to TSN for that day?
I have no idea.
Can we get a hold of his phone?
You know what I want to know? Talking about TSN's cap hit, like what does it take to get old Bobby on the old panel these days? He's not doing a lot.
7 digits.
Yeah, bet you the Minnesota Wild can't even afford to keep half of that salary.
Like I haven't seen him in a minute.
He does World Juniors draft, free agency, and
I love it.
Deadline.
Margaritas.
Bless him.
And Margs.
Hey, maybe pushing. Yeah, you can come in here, have a couple of cans of the Bobby Margaritas.
Like I wonder if he parts. I would negotiate part of the deal where he's on the panel and he just gets to stack up some Margs in front of him.
And he has to wear a Hawaiian shirt the entire day.
Bobby Margarita.
Yeah, I think they're like, hey, listen, stack the cans under the desk there. We want to keep a little bit professional still here.
Stands up, no pants.
Not shorts today, just no pants.
Yep. Fuck it. He's retired, man.
Announces the trade. The pants went away. And what came back?
He's like, oh, I've got some breaking news under the desk here. All right. You're running out of time as well. If you want to come to Toronto with us on March 10th to 12th, there is 2 spots available. Nationgear.ca. Go check out the details on that. We are staying at the Royal York Hotel downtown. We are watching the game in a gondola suite. It's going to be great. And as we learned today on Oilers Nation Every Day, we also will be welcomed by Mike Pinball Clemens.
Pinball Clemens coming on the trip to Toronto. Hot damn.
Wow. Yeah.
And if you grab one of the last spots, he's your roommate.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
Yep.
Wow.
it's true as well.
I heard if
totally
he smiles, it wakes you up.
Exactly.
Also, thank you to everybody that reached out. There are no more game tickets available, so stop emailing me. Thanks.
Yeah. Or just keep emailing Dan, but like just recipes and whatever.
Yeah, that works.
Pictures of your feet. Dan likes it.
Love pictures of feet. That's
Nationgear.ca. Go get on those last 2 spots. I promise you're going to want to come on this trip. It's going to be great. Hang out with Pinball. Right?
That's awesome.
Probably. All right. This past week, there's been 2 wins for the Edmonton Oilers. Very different wins, though, Dan. First 40 minutes against the Flyers on Tuesday were rough.
Frustrating.
Third period, boys turned it on, ended up closing it out 4-2 win, just as I predicted. Last night, though, in Pittsburgh, just a total and complete shit kicking of the Pittsburgh Penguins. Dan, what do you make of the difference between those
57 minutes worth.
well,
Yep.
Are you trying to play some impromptu word association here?
the last time we played the Philadelphia Flyers, I said that I felt like there was a certain tinge of John Tortorella is afraid of this Edmonton Oilers team. And that game, I saw it through and through. That trap was unreal. It felt Minnesota Wild of the 2000s-esque.
They had like one guy kind of attacking and 4 back. Like,
There's a system to beat the Edmonton Oilers. If you can't go run and gun with them, if you're a team like them, then there's a system out there.
Yep.
The Oilers need to figure out how to beat that system.
Yep.
And I promise
LA plays it too.
Yeah. And I promise you, it's not spending 5 guys as wide as they were, as far apart as they were in the first 2 periods of that damn game. Yep. Those guys were not even the same area code as each other.
You're talking about the Oilers?
Yes.
Yeah, they don't support each other with the puck at all, especially when they're trying to navigate just that garbage in the middle. Like,
you stay close, make bang pass, chip it past the defenseman, get the fuck in there.
It feels like 5 one-man teams coming into the zone.
Liam, 2 very different wins this week. First against the Flyers. It was a slog until the third period. What do you make of just the difference between those 2 wins?
The difference was I fell asleep in one.
Which one?
Philadelphia.
Did you actually fall asleep during the game?
I felt like it.
Okay.
But you could just see, I think in the third period, it almost felt like they were kind of pissed off a little bit that this was going their way. And then I think they took that straight into the Pittsburgh game as well. And not pissed off in the sense we've seen them when Kane and Klemmer in the lineup and they're trying to beat everything of that moves, but in the sense of like, all right, we're just going to absolutely
good for this.
dominate
This is ridiculous,
you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's what happened. McDavid, you could see the emotion on the goal he scored against Philadelphia where it banked off the guy, just kind of feel the frustration leave his body a little bit. And then you saw it again in Pittsburgh where he's like, his celebration right after. He's like, okay, good. I feel like this is almost a different Connor McDavid these last 2 games. There's last, I guess, 4 periods more than anything.
Yeah, he's now into playoff mode. Why don't some guys do the same thing? Yamamoto hasn't scored since 1987. He pops that one last night, and it looks like he scored 67 goals this year. Like there was no emotion in the dude. Yeah. I want to see some joy. That's why I see some anger when they're fucking getting knocked around. And you have something to feed off of to try and get your way out of the deficit.
What was the game this season when it was Dylan Holloway scored that one from like the high slot and you could see he was just
he was so fired up.
And I think you called it out on that one. I think Draisaitl got one that game too, and you could just see they were just like so excited to score. And Yeah, you want to see that. And obviously you're not going to see it every single night sometimes. Like, they didn't even do the flyby on Nugent-Hopkins' goal. They just went to the bench.
And then that one I kind of...
That one I get. It was done by now.
Like
But Yamamoto, like you banged home a big goal.
Garbage goal. I love him.
It's where you need to be. It's creating extra space. It's your first and forever. Your first since you've been hurt. Like there should be some outward emotion there.
Like when Devin Shore scored.
Oh,
Thank you.
Devin Shore scored,
Yes.
and he was pumped.
Yeah, you should be.
First goal in
That line is
41
looking
games.
Really good. If that line's played this well all year,
One of us in this room, however, did not watch Devin score.
makes no sense which one either.
So ironic, really, isn't it?
He's probably I still don't know what you're doing.
He does have one goal since Elliot Friedman called him Drew Shore.
I was making my paycheck is what I was doing. I was doing an interview
Allegedly.
on my new show,
Which is what?
Extra Time with Liam Horban.
There you go.
But
Check
if
it out
you're
wherever
wanting
you
to
get
follow
podcasts.
Liam on Instagram
Oh yeah,
specifically,
need 100 followers so I can do some.
Is that what
cool
it is?
Stuff. I'm just assuming. I've done everything else.
doing a drive for
It's the
100,
only-
and then if it's not 100, he'll do a drive for 200.
Let's
just
see how
don't
good we
get
can get, close you can get. What is the handle that we need? to follow?
Liam.Horban.pods.
Oh, we need to work on that handle.
Short name, but I couldn't think of anything else. And I, either way,
It tells you exactly what it is.
It does tell you that.
yeah.
He's
so
selling pods to you.
Mhm.
Different
Tide
different
Pods.
rent.
It's
Yeah.
with Liam's
Don't put 'em in your
love
mouth.
of Tide Pods. They are delicious.
These pods go in your ears.
This one goes in your laundry.
You should film a little promo like that.
Yeah, I think
yeah,
so.
to
Zoom
promote
my
Instagram.
pods.
So I was making content, and all of a sudden my phone's just bzz, 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 just blowing.
The entire
up.
Shore
I'm
family
what is
messaging him.
going on? And I had endless people.
What was the
being
first thing that
"Devin
came to mind?
scored."
You had to have realized your phone's going off like that. Like, hey, what did Devin Shore just do?
I wasn't really sure, to be honest, because the notifications, and then I like opened it. I was like, there's no way this guy just scored. And I sat down in my basement with no heat, freezing to death, and Devin scores, banging him in. He's dangerous from that spot. He's been
There's a hell of a
scoring
pass from Pugliarvi too.
Hell of a pass
Great
from
fortune.
Pugliarvi.
That line has been playing really well last
They
couple
played
games.
really, really well. And going
simple,
back to
simple hockey.
exactly simple hockey, and to Devin Shore's credit, since being recalled this 900th time, he's played really solid. Gregor wrote about it the other day on Oilersnation.com. He went down to Bakersfield, played 5 games, got 2 goals, 3 assists, a little bit of mojo. All of a sudden, he's coming back up, picked up a big assist in his first game, big goal last night. Come on. Guy's fired up. And Tyler said this on Oilers Nation every day today. You got to give him some credit for maintaining a positive attitude, even though he's yo-yoing back and forth all season.
I think
a
it's
good
kind of
guy.
what you get. It's kind of what you get out of a player like that in this point of his career, where he knows he has to go up and down. But it's good on him for keeping that positivity on him, and obviously he's a big part of the room.
Sorry, I was going to say he did an interview with Gregor the other day, and he just basically said he's like, just wants to be around the team and be a good, positive person around it. Like you can be guys who go down there and they just slog it out. And
I forget who said it. I forget who said it. But he's
goals.
like, I get paid to play hockey.
Yeah.
Yeah,
great.
I think that's similar to what he was kind of saying.
Yeah, like
He's
1,000%. Like my job is to wake up and play hockey.
Yeah.
You know what? The Oilers
Not gonna have very many bad days.
probably have had like people like, oh, they're dragging him around. It's like, first of all, they've 100% had a conversation with him, and he knows the situation. He knows where he's at.
You can fly me
Give him a
back
2-year
to
deal.
you can fly me to Baco and back 17 times a week if I get that same paycheck.
Exactly.
Sure. Tyler, wrap it up for us. The difference between the 2 games. What did you notice? 2 wins, 2 different wins.
Yeah, I didn't like against Philly that they just didn't adapt, right? Like if you get shut down for the first period, how are you not sitting there in the room and like, okay, here's what we need to do differently, instead of just going, well, let's keep beating our head against the proverbial cement wall and like hoping something changes. Against Pittsburgh, they didn't start that well, but I give them credit for just kind of pulling up the bootstraps and getting to work, right? Like throwing pucks on that. It just looked like such a different team than we saw against Philly, which is frustrating as well because they have not been good on home ice this year. And I think that game against Philly was almost a prime example of why. Trying to be too cute, not doing the difficult things right, working around the perimeter a lot, not wanting to get to the middle of the ice. And then they get on the road against Pittsburgh and they're like, oh shit, we should try going to dangerous areas, right?
Leon did say in an interview with Gene yesterday on the ice that him and Connor maybe get too cute sometimes too.
They
Those
are.
are his own words.
They are. Like,
and they do.
When those 2 play a simple game, they're unstoppable.
It's simple.
And Pittsburgh saw it last night.
Like Connor's first goal. Yeah, simple. It'll put the
Well,
puck on net.
again, so let's talk about that for a second here, because I want to get to the milestones here next. Is I've watched the replay a bunch of times and I still don't know how he had the space. There was like a credit card worth of room to shoot at.
And he knew what he was doing.
Banks it off the back of Jari's head or whatever. Amazing goal. Amazing.
That's like he skated down there at 1,000,000 miles an hour, got close, said, oh, if I just
bank it off his head,
net and put it off the back of his back and it'll fall in.
It's like I wrote in the wrap up last night. Connor basically scored from the parking lot and just ding right off the head.
I feel like we talk about this like once a month. We just kind of like wax poetic about Connor, but it just bears repeating every single time. I just had this conversation with my parents the other day. Like we are watching Connor McDavid decide to become the best goal scorer in the league this year.
Mm-hmm.
Just decided it.
Yep.
On a whim that he's shooting. I know, Rick. I know.
What did Austin get for goals last year?
60. Yeah, 62.
62.
Oh.
It's
so he's right in that conversation. But like, just if you were given the opportunity to go back in time and watch every one of Wayne Gretzky's games that you could watch, you're going to do it.
Yep.
You're doing that with Connor McDavid right now. Like we are in the times to be watching.
And to that point,
it's unbelievable.
Jay Woodcroft said the exact same thing post-game last night. He just said, and I'm paraphrasing, he's like, you're watching a guy at the top of his game do his thing.
And like, by the way, like the Connor McDavid move on the defenseman of Philadelphia there, where he just walked through two of them, just kind of casual. and like, no more are we doing this. Like Connor McDavid is unreal. It's what were those two defensemen doing? It's like, they're trying to defend the greatest player in the league. That's what they're doing.
I loved the reaction at Rogers Place when he did that. Everybody just went, whoa.
It was unreal.
But then they stand up because you're waiting for a goal to come next.
We were anticipating the goal.
You do hope something great finishes that off, but
you almost assume at this point.
You do. I've actually made a rule for myself a while ago, only in the last month, that when McDavid does something, I like have to do something. I appreciate it, I guess.
You have to make like a peanut butter and jam sandwich.
Like even at home,
he writes a little
make
note.
sure I know.
He writes, "Dear Connor, that play at this time of the game was incredible. I really enjoyed it."
And then I rank it on his power ranking.
That's coming.
It would be interesting to almost like. We should almost do that just as a 1 week exercise where there's a couple of games where we just have like a little McDavid notepad and just write out things that we notice as he does. And then on Friday, we'll just read them out or something.
We should get one of our interns to watch all of his games ever and do that for us.
That's a good idea.
Yep. Waz, I've got a project for you.
It might take a few minutes.
All right. So this past week, again, 2 wins against the Flyers and the Penguins, but 3 big milestones. Well, kind of 4, actually. Connor McDavid hit 800 points, which is amazing considering he hit 700 points not that long ago in this same season. Leon Draisaitl, exact same play. He gets to 700 points. It's just, of course, it had to happen that way. After the game, they took the picture both together holding the puck. It's like, of course it had to. On that same goal, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins had a career high with 70 points. And then last night against the Penguins, a couple of points from my dude, he hits 600 points. So 3 big milestones for the Oilers this past week.
50th career goal for Devon Score as well.
4 big milestones for the Oilers this week.
When Connor hit the milestone earlier this year, were we not saying that we wished it happened on the same goal as another milestone that game? I feel like they were
both
on the cusp of a
it was an
assist one,
goals or assists. Yeah,
I don't know what it was.
I think Leon got an assist one.
Sorry.
But
just I thought of.
It's pretty amazing. Those 3 dudes are just really lighting it up this year. Connor's an absolute. He's I don't even know what to describe him. I don't have a vocabulary strong enough.
He's the UFO they've been looking for a long time. He's the one.
Just like the original Matrix movie where Neo discovers that he is the one and he starts seeing the world in code. That's just what I imagine that's what I imagine Connor sees hockey as.
The NHL just put out a graph of the points of the great ones over their career as they've progressed. And Connor is just tucked in right behind Wayne, right ahead of Ron Francis and Jaromir Jagr.
He is the 5th fastest player to hit 800 points in NHL history.
Unreal.
Coombsy wrote an article at Oilers Nation. It was funny. People were shitting on Cam, but like the math actually worked a little bit. He's like, could Connor realistically get close, if not get to 1,000 points next year?
Or he'll be close for sure.
He'll be close.
What's he at right now?
He just hit 800, so 80 whatever.
No, sorry. What's he at for the season right now?
109.
109. So I think he's projected at last I heard this morning was 153. So call it another 40 points. So that means 160 next year gets him.
So like it'd be tough. I'm not betting against him. I'll tell you that right now, but he could possibly put himself in the neighborhood of 1,000 points next year.
Yeah. Well, he will put himself in the neighborhood of.
In the neighborhood for sure.
He will be, do we guess? 970, 975, 980,
970, 980,
997.
I'm interested to see how he finishes this season because we're coming up on what are traditionally the 2 most productive months of his season every single time.
If he's got another gear on top of what he's doing already, I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm just going to be hammering over 1.5 points with our friends at Betway every single night, no matter what the odds are.
It's just going to come in assists.
Minus 220.
He's still going to keep scoring at the clip he's been scoring at. So it's just going to
46
come from
goals
assists.
now.
Yeah.
Career high for Connor.
Just needs some more people to find to get those helpers.
50 on Monday.
The
We
last
got the
time we
Columbus
did this
Blue
was
Jackets
horrible.
tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. He might hit it tomorrow.
Liam, when was he supposed to hit 100?
I thought he hit it against Ottawa with 70 minutes
Second in
gone
the
in the
second
second period. I thought it was over with.
So his actual 100th point would have been that first point against, the second point against the Rangers, right? We were all wrong though. So I'm going to delete the part of my
Who
prep
was the
sheet.
closest?
So it would have been whoever was last. So it would have been Bag Milk who said second period against, Dan who said third period against Ottawa. I also said third period against Ottawa.
I said second.
Well,
So we would be right.
you came close.
Sucks to suck.
Price is Right
Everybody else?
rules wins every time.
The other two things that we made predictions on that I'm still looking at in the sheet are Puljujärvi's trade return and who plays the first playoff game between the pipes.
What did we say on that one? Out of
which one?
curiosity.
One of
For the-
either Skinner
for
or
the
Campbell.
goalie one. Yeah.
Me and you said Skinner. Everyone else said Campbell.
Well, I'm flipping right now. I'm
Well, you
my answer.
can't. That's too
It's
bad.
locked in. You can't change that.
Hey,
Locked
you
in.
flipped. Hey, if you can change trade proposal, whatever's in
didn't.
the span of the same week.
Doesn't
Can we
sound like
make?
me.
Sorry, how many goals does McDavid have now?
46.
Okay, let's do a one for that.
He's on pace for 64. And Matthews, by the way, had exactly 60 last year. But McDavid on pace for 63.9.
Oh, that whole city's got to unplug their radios, their internet. If Connor comes out and scores more goals this year than Austin's ever scored in a season, that whole city's gonna have to go dark.
And we'll probably have
I will have paper airplanes. I start firing that way. I'll use snail mail.
How many goals is Connor McDavid finishing the year with?
Oh wait,
Rick?
no, that's not the one I wanted to do.
Okay.
Sorry, I wanted to do when he scores
like
his
that, though.
50th goal.
Also, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins has more goals than Austin Matthews. Thank you.
This year.
I like the question
Monday.
you asked though, Tyler. We should do that after.
Let's do both.
Okay.
Yeah, let's do both. Why
this
not
is-
both?
This is the next
I think we should do
few
both.
games.
Okay, so he is at 46 goals right now. Liam, what does the schedule have for us?
Oh, Columbus tomorrow, Boston Monday, Toronto Wednesday, Jets, Sabres, Bruins, Jets.
I'm going to say, I'm first. I'm selfish. He gets 50 on Wednesday against the Leafs, and we're going to have so much fun with it.
Yeah, I like that.
Wednesday, March 1st against the Leafs. That's my pick.
You're saying Bag Milk, March 1 versus Toronto. Okay.
Yep. Who's
Monday.
next?
Monday, Boston.
So he needs 4 goals. Monday, Boston.
I want it so
Because he
bad.
wants to. That's why.
I want him to hit 60, obviously, but I want it so bad to stretch out that he gets his 50th when you guys are in Toronto. So bad. But that's 8 games away. So
Why can't he get his 60th?
True.
He could be, yeah. If he gets his 60th when we're in Toronto, I'm throwing pinball out of the suite and onto the ice.
Okay, I'm going to go with the Winnipeg Jets on the 4th.
Okay.
Okay. March 4 versus Winnipeg.
That is a Saturday. Tyler, you're up.
I'm going to say Friday against Winnipeg. March 3 versus
March 3rd, deadline day.
Well, I got to hitch my wagon to somebody here because he's going to score before that. So I'm going to guess the first game with the Jets after.
So that is Friday the 3rd, deadline day.
That means 1, 2, 3 games. He's gonna go 3 games without scoring 4 goals.
Something tells me the Boston game's going to be tight.
He just went 4 games without scoring a goal.
Yep.
Yeah, he's pissed off.
I was thinking he'll get 2 between Columbus and Boston, whether it's 2 against Columbus or 1 in each game, and then 1 against Toronto, and then he'll get 1 more against Winnipeg. He's going to keep some sort of a streak going, but
So wait, what was your pick, Tyler?
Friday against Winnipeg. What's yours, Rick?
Rick? Deadlined again.
Monday, Boston.
Monday, Boston for Rick.
He scores 2 or 3 tomorrow. All game Monday, they're going to be feeding him the puck.
Yeah, they'll probably play Leon with him again.
Is it at home Monday?
Yes, it
Yes,
is.
it's at home, Boston.
And then how many goals will Connor McDavid finish the season with?
62.
65.
Well, hang on. Wait,
69.
how many games? Nice. How many games do we have left?
Nice work.
22 games left?
Yeah,
Bet
23.
against me.
23
go
games
over.
left. So,
Oh, wait.
yeah, I'm going to 62.
And he has 46 right now, so that would make it
Hang on.
18 goals.
I'm going to say 64. It's exactly what he's on pace for. He'll just keep riding at this pace.
I'll go 60. I'll change my answer. 65
Jesus
seems
Christ.
unrealistic.
69.
Why not?
Nice.
65.
Let's go.
Liam is the low one.
Whoop, whoop.
Liam hates
He's probably
Connor.
Liam's betting against Connor.
He's probably not even
No.
watching that game when he scores either.
No. None of that.
Liam doesn't believe in Connor McDavid. That's the title of the episode.
Yep.
Liam Horvath Hodds doesn't like Connor.
We've gone a long ways here, so we quickly got to stop down for an ad.
I was going to say, if you try and cut this podcast off, I'm just going to keep going. You could just leave. That's what I'm going to say. All right, let's get to Ask the Idiots. We have got 4 questions. Let's rip through them really quickly. No, they're not betting questions. If you want to do some betting, you go check it out at our friends at Betway, provided that you are of legal age and you can bet responsibly. Got it? If you too want to win some money on betting under 70.5 shots, just like I did last night, Betway is the place to do it. Thank you. I was sweating the last 68 shots last night. All right. Ask the Idiots. Dan is right in front of me. So you are first. This one comes in from Blake. With Nuge seemingly finally getting the respect he deserved around the league, it made me think of Oilers who never really did or didn't get enough respect. So what player or players, doesn't have to be an Oiler, past or present, do you think did not get the credit they deserved?
The easy one on the forefront of my mind, just because he was tweeting this morning, is Rob Shrimp. Loved Rob Shrimp growing up. Thought he was a great player and just didn't ever get any runway with the Oilers or the Islanders or anybody really in the league.
Rick,
Just before his time.
who didn't get enough love?
Alesh Hemsky.
Oh man, great
Ding,
pick.
ding, ding.
Great pick.
Thank you.
I was going to say.
He was for years the only, like, we have a sign from Rexall Place that Zach got today at Rexall Place. I just think of how many nights I was in that building and he was the only reason to watch for a long time. Tyler, who didn't get enough
First
love?
off the ice. He can't
Yeah,
be that
Hemsky
good.
was my Oilers pick. So I'll go outside of Edmonton for mine. Can I say that Rick Nash would be considered one of the greats if he would have just gotten lucky to not be drafted to Columbus?
Of course, you go to Columbus, guy.
Yeah, Columbus
Right?
guy.
But like if Rick Nash
He was
would have
incredible.
gotten, if he would have been like drafted by the New York Rangers and like had a bunch of playoff success, I think we would look back at him as like the power forward star of that era. But he was just in a shit brand new market and never got a chance to play in the playoffs. If he would have been drafted and developed by the Bruins, we'd be like, oh my God, like there was a 6-year one. Rick Nash was the best player in the league. But
When he was on a quality team with Team Canada on it, he was one of the
Unreal.
best.
He was great.
incredible.
yeah.
Some of the goals he scored in his
There's
career
that one where
too.
he's like, they're like hanging off of him.
Yeah.
He was a bit of a glass cannon, though. He was made
He
out
was.
of glass.
He got hurt a lot, but still, I just think him with some talent around him, man, we would have looked at that guy differently.
Yep.
Liam, you got a player who didn't get enough love?
The Hemsky one was good. That was what I was going to say. I'm going to say one, and I'm only going to say this because it's been brought up in the office numerous times if he's a Hall of Famer or not. I'm going to say Tim Thomas. I think Tim Thomas,
Like the
Former Oiler.
goalie.
yeah, he won it all, and he's not a Hall of Famer.
He'd like that though is a Hall of Fame debate, and Coombsy and I had a baseball debate centered around this the other day.
Around Tim Thomas?
No, around Hall of Fames and peak versus longevity. Because Thomas had a great peak. Jose Bautista had a great peak, but they just didn't have the longevity to be Hall of Famers.
Yep, I think that's the argument for him. I say he won it all.
It's an interesting
So
argument.
You know
Tim
who I'm
Thomas
gonna
is
say?
mine.
He took so much shit for the contract he signed once upon a
Gonna
time.
say this.
Yeah.
He was a captain in this franchise. He played in all situations. That poor son of a bitch did more tours of that arena before it was built than pretty much anyone. Didn't even get a play in it as an Edmonton Oiler. Sean Horkoff gets my pick.
I'll give you one extra one too. It's
Hit me.
and people are going to hate it, but it's Kevin Lowe.
Oh, that's 100% accurate. Though.
Outside the 80s.
100% accurate.
Yeah.
Kevin Lowe as a player is a legit, like you're so right. 100%. Because people think about Kevin Lowe, I know a thing or two about winning guy, you know? By the way, arguably we're getting close to the trade deadline. Arguably one of the greatest run of trades any Oilers GM has ever made was in 2006 when Kevin Lowe was taking swings.
Those additions. Was spot check a shiny move? I don't think spot check would be considered a shiny.
Yeah,
he was only a second round pick.
Samsonov would have been a shiny move.
Samsonov was a big. Well, no, was he?
Not really.
He was a first rounder, wasn't he?
Yeah,
like he was.
Or no, he was a second rounder. He was actually the Lucic pick.
Spotchek went for a second. That's crazy.
Spotchek was a cannon.
He fit in perfectly where we needed him.
Dickie Tarnstrom wasn't shiny.
Fit in?
No, Dart.
But you know who was the shiny object?
Stastny in a second. So there were assets along with that second.
You know who was the shiny object that year? Was Roley. Because he was a first round pick that they traded for him. So he was in the shiny.
Took a little shiny.
And Rick doesn't want this team to go all in. Look what happened last time they went all in.
Liam, what do you want to say?
Would Phil Kessel be one of those guys too? Bit underappreciated for what he's actually done for how long he's.
I think he just gets a lot. I think he's appreciated. He just gets a lot of stupid hate on him. Yeah, he likes hot dogs.
I like watching Phil.
I love hot dogs. By the way,
by playing in Toronto, he got.
If I had a hot dog right now, I would crush it.
No problem.
I might go to Costco on my way home. What do you think about that, Rick?
I think you should probably get two.
I think a guy like Matt Sundin, maybe.
Nah, but he was in.
I think of him as a Canuck and a Canuck only.
But see, I think that the Toronto thing maybe like made him. Yeah, I don't know. I guess. I'm trying to think of guys that were like good, but never considered to be great.
Question number 2. By the way, if you have some picks that we're missing here and you're listening to this, hit us up, Owen Radio Podcast, or email Dan at Oilersnation.com. Question number 2, we're reversing the order. Liam, you're up first.
Here we go.
Oh man, this one's dumb. Okay. If social media was a thing in the days of Wayne Gretzky, would he get the same media positive, negative attention that Connor does now whenever he does anything? In short, how do you think social media would view and present Gretzky and any other players from that time if it was a thing? I'll just go ahead and answer. They'd all be looking like shitheads because they were shitheads.
Yep.
Are we talking about what they were doing on the ice?
No, nobody cares about it on the ice.
Well, that's the thing. That's what social media is it's an invite into your personal world.
Exactly.
Therefore, yeah, I don't know, like, because like you got to think that in the 80s, the 70s, the 60s, there was just no filters like there is now. Mm-hmm. And I'm not talking about the filters that make your pictures look good. I'm talking about filtering your own content. And so, yeah, I don't know. It's a really,
they'd have some like 1980s version of Instagram posts that aged poorly.
Well, like, I mean, we've seen what happened to a player like Grant Fuhr, for instance, who got canceled in 1980s terms by being suspended from the league for his substance abuse. You'd think that some of those players may have shown up at that time partaking in some substance abuse. It's just a different world. It's hard to. Hey, I'm just talking about the ones that got convicted of it, whatever that means.
Allegedly in Dan's opinion.
Yes, but yeah, I just think that it's hard to put a social media lens on an old day when social media wasn't a thing.
Liam, do you have an answer for this?
Yeah, I kind of just agree with Dan, I guess. I don't know. I think it's probably. I'm just trying to think of what social media would be like in the 80s, and it's already brutal now sometimes. So I can't imagine what it would be like back then. So
just a lot of people smoking lung and darts all over the place.
You'd probably see a lot more pictures of guys smoking in dressing rooms.
There would be a lot
smoking in the dressing room, smoking in your car, smoking on the plane, smoking in school, smoking at the hospital,
smoking everywhere,
smoking in the boys' room,
smoking on podcasts.
Mm-hmm. I could use one. I mean, what? Tyler, do you have an answer for this?
No, not really. Honestly, social media would have been shitty back then, just like it is now. People are shitty. And if you give them a platform, they'll be shitty on it.
Shitty people.
Shitty people say shitty things.
Shitty bang bang.
Question number 3. This one's way more fun. Dan, I'm coming back to you.
If social media existed next year.
If you could pick one celebrity to be the Oilers version of Drake to the Raptors, who are you picking?
I'll go first. Pinball Clemens.
Hell yeah.
And we're done.
Man. Does he have to be like from?
Well, I mean, like that's kind of the fun is that Drake is from Toronto, but like that's a little bit tougher because we don't have the same kind of celebrities from Edmonton. So like, I'm gonna say no. Just a guy who's an Oilers fan. Like like Kevin Smith would be a good one.
I pick curling.
So you got Silent Bob just sitting there all the time waving a towel around. I'd watch that.
Curling legend Ben Hebert.
He was at the game on Tuesday.
He was.
Anybody have any other names? Who would be your Drake for the Edmonton Oilers? How about Gizmo?
I would just straight up pick Drake.
If I
Nickelback.
Kodak Black.
Kodak Black twerking up in the
We
second.
have some extra.
you could get
Having Nickelback up in a suite for playoff games,
That would be
slamming beers,
sweet.
That was a good call.
That
Right?
would be a good
Nickelback
one.
would be sweet, and then all of a sudden they just bust out a like I don't know a song, play whatever how you remind
They'll
me.
be
of
here in
some shit.
March.
June.
Juno's in March.
Jonathan Torrens is my pick.
What about
Massive
that guy
Oilers fan?
who Nathan Fillion?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
He is from Edmonton.
Yep.
What was the movie he was in? Suicide Squad.
He's in.
Yep, and
he was
he-
in Firefly.
Been in a ton of stuff.
Rookie.
Firefly
what
was
was
a
that?
big
The Rookie?
The Rookie or something like that. His
And then
TV
he was
show.
also in
Firefly.
Bones. No, it wasn't Bones. What was the show he was in?
Castle.
Castle. That was it. I knew it was like one word.
I never watched an episode of it, but I knew it. So there you go.
He was supposed to be in Marvel.
If we could get Ryan
Cut it.
Reynolds to turn to Edmonton, pro Edmonton all the time, let's do it.
All right,
Or
I got
Seth
some
Rogen.
Edmonton celebrities that may work. I'm in on all of them. Well, 2 of 3.
Cheech.
It's Tommy Chong actually.
Yes,
He's from Edmonton.
sorry. Yes.
Michael J. Fox. I'm in.
Oh yeah.
Love Back to the Future.
Would you just come out in a DeLorean?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
They don't drive him around anymore in the Ford, like on in between. He just comes out in a DeLorean and goes around.
I dig it.
In the playoffs, he goes, where we're going, we don't need roads. And everybody just, wah!
It's just the DeLorean out in the lobby from now on.
Yeah.
I'd like that. There used to be a DeLorean in my neighborhood. I haven't seen it in a long time. Hope that guy is okay.
He went Back to the Future.
He might have.
Did you see any burning tire
He
marks
might
in your
have.
area?
Once you get to 88 on the Henday.
They did warn him. Don't go over 87.
Last question, Ask the Idiots this week. If you want to submit a question for the boys, just slide on into my DMs. They don't get a peek at these until I ask them for their opinion. Very, very important question, Liam. That's why I'm starting with you. What is the ultimate sandwich?
Oh, I'm so glad I'm sitting for this.
Well,
He's been waiting for this moment.
I don't
Thank you,
make these
listener.
ones often, and you're gonna think it's a little. You think I'm gonna say something crazy, but it's not that crazy. Toasted bread, obviously, so it becomes toast, but not too toasted, just slightly toasted.
Get to
Golden.
And then I'm saying my story. You'll have your time. I'm having mine. Tuna mayonnaise,
Mhm.
and then you put cheese over it, and you melt the cheese.
Oh, nice little tuna melt.
Sweet corn and cucumber
On the sandwich?
on the sandwich.
Interesting.
You lost me at the cucumber, but I'm with you for the
You can
rest.
cut up the cucumber as well, so it's just.
Well, I
like
didn't
little
expect you to
chunks.
put a whole cucumber.
Yeah. Do you dice up the cucumber, add the cucumber, the quart into the tuna?
You cube it.
And then do you mix it in with the tuna?
You slice
Or are
the
you doing the
cucumber?
tuna and then adding the.
I put it under the cheese, so then the cheese
dig it.
kind of
On everything. Yeah, I feel you.
See, Liam, when I make that sandwich, I slice the cucumber lengthwise and I just put each half on either side of the sandwich.
Yep. I just put the whole cucumber in as a
100%.
circular thing, a cylindrical add
Cucumber.
to my
Yeah.
sandwich. Tyler, what is the best sandwich of all
peanut
time?
butter and jam.
Oh, the classic.
Just a nice, it's good in so many meals. Breakfast, solid. As a lunch, solid.
Snack.
Get home late at night, good sandwich to have.
What's the J though? What flavor of J?
Strawberry.
Okay. I'll allow it. Rick, what is the ultimate sandwich?
It's gotta be meat. And I think you're gonna go with the Italian sandwich. So you go to the BMT at Subway, pretty much the Erla sandwich, you got a diced Italian one. You go to the Italian center, you get their hot sandwich. It's an Italian sandwich.
That's true.
Thank you.
Nation Dan, what is the ultimate sandwich?
It's a donair.
I feel like this is a conversation all
Oh,
of a sudden.
it's a hot dog.
If we know that's
A sandwich needs 2 pieces of bread,
Yep.
not just a wrap.
Yep. You need the engine and the caboose.
Mm-hmm.
You know?
I didn't ask what your guys' favorite was. They asked what mine was, and my answer is still donair.
Ooh,
Dan
I'm
Air
from
eats-
Halifax too. I feel like you're gonna get kicked out of the city for that.
I'm not from Halifax. Let that stand on the record.
This is why he had to leave.
Yep.
He started calling a donair a sandwich, and they're like, "Get the hell out of here."
Yeah, when I
Okay,
came
pack,
to
move
Edmonton,
now.
I came back to Edmonton I had a Donair for the first time here with the cheese on it, and it just threw me for a loop.
Every time King of Donair I had one, I always had cheese.
Yep, that's true. They do that out there now.
For me,
not good enough for their city.
I love a donair. It's not a sandwich, but for me, the ultimate sandwich, I've had 3 of them this week, is the BLT. It's classic.
Yeah. Wow.
I love a BLT.
Arby's
Can't go wrong.
Devastated.
Well, Arby's doesn't pay me, so if I'm making a sandwich on my own, BLT.
Yeah, no, the Italian sandwich will rank a little bit higher than a beef and cheddar.
This is a great question. We should ask more questions like this, please.
Yeah, I like those questions. More of those. That one's from Scott. Shout out to Scott.
Nice work, Scott.
Tyler is getting antsy, so we're going to wrap up this podcast with some hot and cold performers. I got to get my buttons ready. Tyler, are you prepared?
Not really.
Do you want to do word association instead?
No.
Okay.
No.
Just check it.
Give you an opportunity.
Liam, you are up first. Your cold performer of the week.
Well, I think there's only one place to go for me for the cold performer of the week, and it's right here in this orange chair. It's me. I'm missing my boy Devin Score.
You deserve this.
Finally score a goal, and I wasn't there to see it. I also missed his assist against Colorado. So that man is just getting minor penalties. I see them, but I never see the points. So
Terrible.
Me, Liam.
What the hell is going on?
You have an answer?
Content creation.
Okay. Tyler, you were up next. Your cold performer of the week.
I've just been kind of bummed out because I've been sitting on the weekends watching a ton of golf and it looks beautiful. Baseball starts tomorrow. Jays are back in action, starting their spring training schedule. It's going to be beautiful in Florida. And it's still goddamn minus 20 here. That's my cold performer of the week.
We have been hoodwinked, bamboozled, led astray, run amok, and flat out deceived.
I want to do fun summer activities.
Like what?
Throwing a ball over the river.
Exactly.
Maybe
Drinking on a patio.
mini golf?
Drinking in my backyard. Drinking while doing mini golf.
What about regular golf?
Regular golf with a side of drinking.
Rick, your cold performer of the week.
Well, I was going to give it to the weather because it's freezing. I do not like this, but I'm going to go somewhere else here. I'm going to go with, and this is not like the regular streaming channels and whatnot, but I'm getting really annoyed when they're taking sports off cable and putting on streaming sites. I would like to watch some of this XFL. Could I watch it last night? No, it's not on television. It's only on some sort of streaming. I'm not paying extra money just to watch this stupid shit. Put it back on TV like it's supposed to be.
Oh, that's cold.
Nation Dan, your cold performer of the week.
I'm with you, Rick. I want the Sportsnet app and ESPN Plus to be added back to the NHL app so I can watch my hockey games normally again.
Yeah, I want to watch XFL. Go watch TSN Go or whatever the hell.
That's so
What do I need this for?
Is that what
Put
it
it back
is?
on TSN.
That is ridiculous.
They have 5 of them.
I know.
3 of them need to be playing the Steel Lumberjack competition, though. So there's no.
Those are sweet.
pretty
Yeah,
cool.
you don't need it on 3 channels, though.
If you were going to be in a lumberjack contest, Tyler, which one do you think you could win?
None of them. There you go.
Oh, come on.
The chopping one.
Confidence level.
Where's the? Is there one where they do some sort of climbing? I'm a pretty quick climber.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you got
you got
that thing where you rope it around the thing. You shimmy.
Yeah,
I could do that. I could do that.
I also like the one where they chop and they wedge the thing in and then they
Get
climb up.
Chop, move. Yeah.
Oh, like the steps. Yeah, that's good.
Nation Dan, your goal for the week.
My cold performer of the week is going to come from 6 days ago. It was on the ESPN broadcast, the Ducks and the Kings. We almost had a goalie fight. Phoenix Copley was pumping a guy with a blocker a couple of times. And then Gibson went to center ice, pulled the Mike Smith and was waiting there for his dance partner. Slammed his stick down to try and get his attention. Copley, upon hearing the stick clanging, I'm watching the clip, so I'm giving you the play-by-play, decided to get up and try to oblige.
Let's do
This is
this.
game.
The referee just jumps the Copley right away and says, no, it's not happening. And then on top of that, the ESPN announcer doubles down and says that goalie fights are bad for the game of hockey.
That guy needs to be fired. Was that Skilleter? I bet you that's Skilleter.
You know what, as a referee, whatever, you don't want to lose control of that situation. Fine. But then for the announcer to then double down and say that hockeyfights.com broke the last time that a goalie fight happened. Just for the record, goalie fights are great for the game. Goalie fights are entertaining. Nobody hates goalie fights except for you, ESPN. You are my cold performer of the week.
The reply to the Anaheim Ducks tweet. I can't remember exactly what they said, but they were basically chirping Felix Copley or whatever it was. And LA replied, Felix Copley has as many wins this season as you do.
That's not bad.
I always think it's fun when they say things like Goalie fights in this case are bad for the game, as if the UFC isn't one of the biggest fucking sports on earth. Right
Goalie
now.
fight starts. People are turn it off.
Yeah, to watch. I can't watch.
And like the announcer was in the building. The crowd was going crazy, like going nuts because there's a fight down on the ice. I don't know. Like it's just empirical evidence.
Of course. I don't remember what my cold performer was. Well, now I complained about something on Better Late Than Never on Wednesday. I don't remember what it was now. What was it, Liam? You made the clip. What was the Rage Sack being?
Double dipping.
Oh, the Ryan O'Reilly trade. Oh, yeah.
I don't remember.
Are you double dipping?
He's double dipping.
That's right. I'm plugging my own podcast.
Rick is accusing you of double dipping.
This is double dipping.
It is. The cold performer of the week is my memory as I get older.
That's a joke. That's an absolute joke is what it is.
Happens to the best of us.
Righteous sack beating was, I got it right here.
Yeah, good.
Yeah, the Ryan O'Reilly trade annoys me.
I remember why now.
Because they didn't come here.
Last week, I remember what it was. It was the fucking fake insiders that pop out around this time of year. I don't even understand the joke. It's annoying. Get out of here.
But
nerds,
with the new badge verification badges, just about any emoji works to fake it now.
Yep. Nice job, Elon. All right, let's finish off the podcast with some positives. Tyler's completely checked out. He's been on his phone for the last 20 minutes, so we're going to finish off with the hot performer of the week.
Gone too long.
Has not. People love
Listeners, tell us, has it gone too long?
Daniel,
my hot performer of the week is going to be a quick one for Tyler, and it's just Connor McDavid because we get to keep watching this guy. He's an Edmonton Oiler, and it's a beautiful thing.
He's a hot guy.
Yes, he is. Rick, hot performer of the week.
Well, let's go give it to the guy who does not lose. Let's go and give it to Big Vin. Why? Why not?
Yeah.
Pissy Pants, your check.
Zach and Kennedy went to Rexall Place and got last chance behind the scenes look at the old barn. Now we have a cool drink menu from Rexall sitting up in our studio, and I think they did a great job. And they just brought back a lot of cool nostalgic stuff. So shout out to Zach and Kennedy.
Pour it on,
including one of the programs about a young Jack Michaels.
Yep.
Welcome to the gang.
He should have gotten a 1000th game shout out from us as a hot performer as well.
We're still time.
Okay.
Maybe I got him on my list over here, Tyler. I didn't. Liam, your hot performer of the week.
Mine goes to my friend Zach for out-dueling me at who can eat the most ribs.
Wow.
How many do you have?
He had 21. I had 19.
What kind of ribs are we talking here? Like, are we talking baby back ribs? And
I don't know.
Where were you?
I was at a place that used to be friends of us, but no longer is.
We could still say we
Montana.
I was at Montana's all you can eat ribs on Wednesday. I had apple, Chipotle.
You went head to head with Zach.
21-19.
Rib for rib.
Well, there's 3 other guys there, but they were no competition for what we were putting down. I had 20. He had 21.
Oh, you couldn't have powered one back?
But there is because they came out into so many,
21,
and I would have had to order another rack.
Just a to-go box.
Or pocket ribs.
I just wanted to eat. He earned it. Shout out, Zach.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
Sounds like more summer content.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what I do on a Wednesday.
First of all, Jack Michaels, I had that written down here. I'm just gonna.
Oh yeah, right.
Shout out to you, Jack Michaels, for doing your thing. I suppose Tyler ruined it for me, so I will say, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. My boy has 9 points over his last 5 games, 4 goals, 5 assists. He is red hot right now, and I could not be more pumped for the dude. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins is my hot performer of the week.
This is why I'm hot. I'm hot because I'm fly. You ain't because you not.
Tyler, you want to do another 30 minutes?
You guys can. Feel free. Actually, no, I didn't want to take my computer home.
He says we could. Let's do it, you guys. We got
my
another
truck's
hour.
been started for 5, so let's wrap her up.
Lastly, before we wrap up, I just want to tell you, Oilers Nation 15th birthday party tickets are available at nationgear.ca. They're $20.07. Get it?
Yes.
Is at the Pint downtown on a Saturday, March 18th. We're going to be raising some money for free play for kids. We're going to have the swag bag. You're going to get the t-shirt. We're going to have the raffles. You're going to have giveaways. We may even have some Nation staff behind the bar, provided that they can pass a test. You want in? Of course you do. Come on over to nationgear.ca and I can get you your tickets. This thing is going to sell out. I promise you, we're probably about halfway there already. Get your tickets, get your tickets, get your tickets.
Get them fast, please.
In the meantime, we're going to sit here and do another 20 minutes while Tyler wastes some gas. Dan, what do you want to talk about?
Warming up my vehicle.
I would love to have a chat about the road conditions today, Bag Milk. I was driving into work today and I thought to myself, man, that road is glossy.
He turned it off already.
There we go. Wrap it up. Have a great weekend, everybody.